The sixth nomination, what do you think about these ascensions?
The climbs that are nominated?
Yeah.
Well, all of us who are on the jury, when we saw this very big list in the beginning of maybe more than 100 possible climbs, pretty quickly we shrank it to maybe first 20, then 10, and now we have 6. And the more we thought about it, everybody on the jury agreed on the point that we were all looking for the most perfect kind of idea of alpine style climbing that was on the big list. And the 6 climbs are good. They've accepted the idea of alpine style. And what's that? It's just really the most simple way to go and climb on a mountain. Just some climbers, what they carry in their back, 1 or 2 ropes, and they just go as far as they can go, and they come down. There's nothing else, no other assistance, and it's all completely their own. They own this climb completely.
But now it's not so easy to go to 1. To have the winner, it's totally different from 6 to 1.
It is difficult, and in some ways, it's really hard, and in some ways, it's a little bit strange to try and find a winner in an activity like climbing, because it's not really a sport like running or racing. It's different completely because it's more inside your head, inside your emotions. But I think the way that this works and can be successful is it puts people thinking about alpinism and climbing in general, and it makes them look at the idea of the pure kind of climbing. And the pure kind of climbing is really the way it started, the very beginning. Alpinism was very simple a century or more ago. It became more complicated. And so this award looks for simplicity and elegance in climbing.
How did it change, in your opinion, the perception of climbing?
Well, the way it happened was because all this technology has become so transportable. You know, before, a camera this big, it's now this big. You have the opportunity to photograph or film or make sound or websites. There's so much technology that we can take to the mountains. Is it good or is it bad? That's the question for the individual. To me, I don't want to carry all this stuff in my back. That's me. But the people who do take all the equipment and bring back the little documentary or send instant stuff to the websites, you know, there's a real place for it. It's another form of art, really. It's art in the mountains. It's a new way to bring back the message. It could also create more awareness for mountain climbing. I mean, the positive kind. You know, if you get people thinking that this is a good thing to do, they might want to preserve the areas, for example. It also might make climbers more honest, if there's ever a problem with that, because if you're documenting everything, then theoretically there should be no room for disputes about what's being done.
On the mountain, what do you think is much more difficult to communicate to people who doesn't do this kind of sport?
It's always difficult to communicate to the non-climbers what the climbers are doing. Sometimes that message becomes completely confused. When you go from climbing on particularly a big expedition, for example, and you turn it into some kind of a television production, in between you probably have a lot of people producing this thing who don't know anything about climbing. The message or the reality can get crazy at times. It can also take away what the climbers are really doing, make it so that the climbers aren't really being themselves. A big production that's attached to a climb, say in the Himalayas, I've seen it before, that it changes the way people act, how they act with each other. It kind of changes what they're doing. They could become performers instead of climbers.
Your better work on the mountain with a camera.
My better work?
Yeah.
Well, a few times I've been behind the camera filming other people. A few times I've been in the film, being filmed by some TV group. For me, filming, I always just let the camera roll. I would just put the camera on people, let it roll, let them say what they want to say, let them do what they want to do, and then someone can cut it later.
So do you think it's easier to be a storyteller or a climber?
That's a good question. If you're the storyteller, you control the story. If you're the subject of the story, you're under investigation. And that can be difficult. You have to perform.
Okay, what's next in your climbing experience?
Me?
Yeah.
No big things at this point. All my time now is really spent. I have a 6-year-old daughter who's named Ariane, and that takes all my time.
Okay, thank you so much.